Hey guys, it's Ben back with my eighth reflection of the semester. This week I'm going to be talking about paid patriotism, which was a major theme in last week's lecture and something that's really got me thinking. So I just wanted to make a full reflection on this topic because I feel like there's a lot of aspects of it that we can talk about. So let's get right into it. So, as we all know, sports and politics are two aspects of life that are highly interconnected. There you go. In many ways, such as like we were saying in lecture, championship teams that just won the chip, they go and see the president at the White House. And sports has also been used countless times as a catalyst to advance people's political agendas. An example of that in recent memory is Colin Kaepernick making his stand, and the other various, political movements that we've seen in sport throughout history. So, what is paid patriotism really? So, this is paying for patriotic events to happen at in this case, a sports event. So, there's many different examples of this. There's enlistment ceremonies, there's family military reunions, there's free tickets given out to military individuals. There's player appearances where they meet military members. There's the full flag seen at games and flyovers before kickoff. And all this kind of stuff is all aimed at instilling goodwill into both the sports organizations hosting these events as well as the military and trying to get some of that image transfer that we were talking about last week into the military. So this is just a graphic I found online when I was looking for some pictures, and it's from 2015, and I just thought it was worth noting how much money okay, this is government money being spent on various sports teams across the league. So the NBA, you could see that a lot of teams receive funding from the government, uh, very high up too, like lots of funding that they've been getting. Um, then the NFL, the NHL, the MLS, all these leagues, and the amount of funding that they're getting is a little bit outrageous. I think this has gone down a little bit because in lecture we're talking about how people were saying that it was a misuse of taxpayer money. So I wouldn't be surprised if these numbers went down a little bit. I couldn't find a more updated graphic. So I'm getting into my really first discussion point here. So we all know that working in the sport industry, there's a lot of fabricated events um, that happen with the goal of entertaining the fans and adding to the whole production value of the game. Me myself, working in the sport industry, I've encountered this numerous times. Um, like such as last year when I was working with the Rattlers as an intern, whenever the mascot would want to go out and do like a popcorn dumping, like this top right picture, or something like the bottom left picture, where they essentially just harass a fan that's in like a opposing team uniform. 10 out of 10 times, those kind of events are fabricated. Me myself as an intern, I dressed up as an opposing fan a couple times. I had popcorn dumped on me. One of the other interns I was with, he got a pie to the face from the mascot. Just that kind of stuff that adds to the entertainment value and keeps the fans engaged. But due to legal reasons, we can't just do it to random fans. So all that kind of stuff has to be pre-planned and premeditated and executed in a correct way to avoid legal trouble. So even though it seems organic at the time, it's all fabricated. And even things in the top left picture here, such as proposals at games. A lot of the time, I've heard some of my buddies that work at MLSE, they do lots of false proposals and stuff at Blue Jays games and that kind of stuff. Um, and patriotism, it falls in line with that almost because that's a feel good event. Something like a wedding proposal, that's a feel good event as well. and the whole paid patriotism aspect. I feel like ever since I've went to that lecture, uh, like it's got me double guessing if events such as these military reunions are fabricated as well. It really makes you think. So this leads me into basically my main point of this reflection, and it's that these paid patriotism acts and events that happen at games um, could be exploited and fabricated. Um, so as examples, I brought in other feel good, goodwill type things that teams have engaged in the past, which ended up not being true per se. So this picture on the left is a kid. This happened not too long ago. His parents posted this picture at his birthday party saying that none of his friends had shown up or nobody shown up. It was just him in his Maple Leafs gear. So the Leafs offered to bring him out to their next game, and he met players and coaches and broadcasting staff and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that this specific case per se is falsified, but it's definitely kind of sketchy. Like it's a little edgy. You never really know, like, why is this guy getting rewarded for nobody coming to a birthday party? I know that does sound kind of bad to say, but this kind of just adds to like the whole fabrication of events to get people to feel good about your organization. And I feel like sometimes organizations can take it too far, and I feel like this might be one of those cases. But my next example here uh, is this guy. His name's Keaton something. This happened a couple years ago. His parents posted this picture of them in the car, and he was describing how like he can't go to school, like he's being bullied and harassed every day, and he was crying in the video, obviously. Um, and it blew up virally. Like celebrities were reaching out to him, sports stars like LeBron and big name athletes were all reaching out to him saying like the grass is green on the other side, and he got all this exposure, and all these teams were taking advantage of it and exploiting that goodwill that was coming from it. And then, as it turns out, his parents are hardcore racists, and they falsified the whole video, got him to cry. He's actually a bully at school. He wasn't being bullied at school, he was the one bullying other kids. And then this got exposed to the public, and then that just made all the teams that engaged in it look really um, bad. Like they put him in a bad spotlight there. So I know this doesn't really exactly tie into patriotism, but these kind of fabricated events or trying to like reach goodwill that or attain a level of goodwill higher than you already have by taking advantage of these kinds of situations, it's a very slippery slope. And I feel like teams have to be careful when engaging in this kind of behavior. So moving away from the idea that teams could exploit various feel-good events to enhance the overall goodwill of their organization, and we're going to get back into some more patriotic ideals that really tie in with the theme of paid patriotism. So what I have up here on the screen is some pictures of various uniforms from the Army and Navy Division One football programs. So these programs are unique compared to other Division One schools because the graduates have to serve in the military after they've completed their programs or their scholarships with the football teams or whatever it may be. So they utilize paid patriotism an absurd amount. So these kind of teams, they have a new jersey every game that they play throughout the season, and especially in their Army and Navy matchup that happens annually, these jerseys are top of the line, super nice, um, unmatched by most other Division One schools across the country. And this definitely has a lot to do with paid patriotism. As military-based programs, they want to put off the perception that they're top of the line, that they're the best of the best, um, and they really want you to connect those ideals back to the Army. They want to use that ideal of image transferring um, from these super nice jerseys and how this is a pristine football program. They want to transfer that back on to the average American's perception of their military, um, which is really interesting. It's something that I never really thought about before. But after that lecture about paid patriotism, it's definitely opened my eyes in a new way. So overall, those are all the artifacts and pictures and talking points I wanted to share with you that I thought were interesting about paid patriotism. That's all I have for now, so I'll see you next week.